Hi, I'm Dr. Marcia Sirota here with another video on the topic of mental health and wellness. And today I want to talk about the consequences of having one or more narcissistic parents. So when you have a narcissistic parent, there's something to understand, which is that this person does not see you as a person in your own right. They see you as an extension of their ego. So when you are pleasing them, they see you as something who is not getting in their way. And when you are displeasing them, they see you as something that is interfering with their gratification. So part of the legacy of having narcissistic parents is not ever feeling like you are a person in your own right who has an entitlement to be here, who has inherent value, and who has their own voice, their own opinion, their own needs, their own feelings. Having a narcissistic parent means that your parent used you, competed with you, showed you off for their own gratification, punished you when you got in their way or when you displeased them, but didn't necessarily praise you. Because if you're an extension of a parent, think of it like you're their hand. You don't praise your hand for doing what it's supposed to do. You might be angry at your hand if it doesn't function properly, but you would never think to praise your hand for just doing what you expect of it. So just like that, a narcissistic parent would never praise their child for doing the right thing. They would only punish them or get angry at them if they failed to perform appropriately for the parent's desires. So when you grow up and you've had a narcissistic parent, there are a few things that you might exhibit as consequences of this. You might be a people pleaser because you don't feel worthwhile on your own, and so you might feel that the only way that people might want to be around you is if you are pleasing to them or accommodating their needs and feelings. The problem is, the more you present yourself as a pleaser, the less you present yourself as a person in your own right. And what that does is it informs other people that you are not valuable and therefore not worthy of respect. And that sadly perpetuates your belief that you're worthless. So it becomes this vicious circle where the more you please, the more you are disrespected. And the more you're disrespected, the more you feel like you deserve nothing. And so that's not a very helpful way of getting over this narcissistic wound that you've received from having a narcissistic parent or two. So letting go of people pleasing is going to be very helpful. Yes, you might lose some so-called friends in the process, but those so-called friends are so-called friends because they're only around you because you are pleasing them. And if they walk away because you've stopped pleasing, then you know for sure that they didn't love you for who you are. They only stuck around because you were giving them what they wanted. So letting go of people pleasing is a really good way to find out, number one, who actually cares about you and who's only been using you. And it also will tell you that you are lovable, because the people who stick around, you'll see that they care about you despite the fact that you've stopped people pleasing. Now that doesn't mean you become, a selfish jerk and just become nasty and horrible. No, I mean, you have to get along with people on a basic human level, but it means that you're not prioritizing their needs, their feelings, their wants, their agenda, and just doing everything for them and exhausting yourself in the process. It's about the give and take. You're equals, you're sharing, you're exploring, you're having fun together, but you're not just serving because you think that you're not deserving of love in and of yourself. So letting go of people pleasing is a great way to find out who loves you, who doesn't love you, and also a great way to start your healing journey from having had one or more narcissistic parents. Another thing to consider in your healing journey, if you've had narcissistic parents, is having a sense of entitlement to be here, without having to earn your keep, without having to justify your existence, without having to prove anything to anybody, and without having to achieve something or excel in something. Just being able to be here because you are here and feeling like that's enough. Not everybody is destined for greatness. Not everybody has to be the most powerful, the most beautiful, the most successful, the most famous. Most of us can just be regular, and that's great. We can live our regular lives with our regular relationships and our regular jobs, and that's enough. And we don't have to feel like we're not good enough unless we are great. So if we can just be okay with being okay, that's another way to heal our narcissistic wounds. Finally, we can think about how having narcissistic parents makes us always feel like we have to apologize for taking up space. Because, we were always getting in the way, or we were always inconveniencing them, or our basic needs felt like demands that were so unreasonable. And so we always feel like, I'm sorry, forgive me, don't worry about me. So we can recognize that we're allowed to take up space, we're allowed to say what we want to say, and feel what we want to feel, and need what we want to need, and not feel apologetic about it, because we are equal to everyone else and we deserve the same as everyone else. Not more, but not less. We're not better than anyone, but we're not worse than anyone. We don't need to feel bad about taking up space. We don't need to feel like, we're taking someone else's job, or taking someone else's partner, or somehow interfering with someone else's gratification, which is what our narcissistic parent or parents made us feel. So feeling entitled to our place on this planet is another part of the narcissistic healing. So having had narcissistic parents is really difficult because it deprives us of our personhood. It turns us into objects, good objects or bad objects. It makes us feel like we have to people please, like we don't deserve things, like we're guilty for having to take up space. But really, those aren't true. And when we're healing, we have to work on all of these things so we feel like we are just okay, we can just be here, we can not have to apologize, we don't have to be special, but we also don't have to caretake anyone else in order to feel lovable. And if we can work on these things, we can truly get over the legacy of narcissistic parenting. I'm Dr. Marcia Sirota. Please stay tuned for more videos on wellness and mental health topics. Happy New Year.